Hi everybody, my name is Marin with Yoga EVO, and today I'm here to show you how you can use your Yoga EVO Yoga Wheel to improve your poses by incorporating balance, and also to help support you and deepen your poses or stretches in other places other than your back. So in order to get started, I recommend finding a flat space or area where you can move around, stretch out on, and I also recommend using a yoga mat. Today I have my Yoga EVO yoga mat with me, and we're gonna go ahead and grab our wheel and get started. The first place that I really would like to focus on is using the yoga wheel to stretch our upper body. We tend to be tight and closed off in our shoulders, and we think that stretching our arms like this is good enough, or just rotating our shoulders by doing arm circles. But really, when you do this stretch, you're gonna feel that stretch deepen into the armpits, really, like right into the chest and the armpits. And just try this out on your wheel and you'll see what I mean. So this is super good for us to do on a regular basis because we are hunched over. And this is gonna help improve our posture and also allow us to be more flexible throughout our entire body. I'm gonna sit on my haunches just like I'm about to do a child's pose. But rather than placing my hands on the ground for the child's pose, I'm gonna go ahead and place them here on the wheel. So I'm gonna roll out the wheel, keeping my arms fully extended as I continue to bend my waist. Once I get as far out as I can, I'm gonna drop my head past my arms, just like I would try to place my forehead on the ground in child's pose. So I'm keeping my arms extended and pressing my palms deep into the wheel. You're gonna feel maybe a shoulder blade, or a shoulder kind of a pinching sensation here, which is totally normal. It's a compression. And you're gonna feel that stretch in your triceps, in your armpits, and down here, maybe even into your lats and chest. So you'll breathe deeply here, and you can continue to use this wheel as you would in child pose to, say, thread the needle. So I'll go ahead and face you, placing that arm palm up, going in your direction, but keeping this palm flat on the wheel and focusing on pressing that palm down and pressing the shoulder blade towards the ground. It just gives that dynamic space that allows you to open up more and deeply. This also works in other seated poses as well. So if you were doing a straddle sit, and rather than just placing your hands on the ground and walking out, you can roll this wheel out, giving you a more dynamic stretch. And wow, rather than stretching just your inner thighs and your hamstrings, you're now making this a whole body stretch. Really allows us to get into this. And you can also repeat in cross-legged positions, getting those glutes stretched nice and deep while including the arms. Now, a great thing is, because of that depth or the leverage the wheel gives you in having space so that you can deepen the poses, you can also use this in your legs as well. And this helps really for opening the hips up as well as deepening any of your hamstring poses. So an example of this would be placing the wheel directly underneath the knee. This is one of my favorite parts, especially if you're stressed out or you feel really stiff. We tend to carry stress up into our shoulders as well as our hips, but our hips are not as easy to release. A lot of times we think about shoulders as getting a shoulder massage. Well, think of this as getting a hip massage. So we're gonna place the wheel under the knee, make sure it's nice and stable. We wanna make sure that our hips are nice and in line with the wheel. So we're rotating our hips forward, facing the wheel, rather than opening it out to the side. From here, you're just gonna gently take your knee back like you're getting into a low lunge position, and press your hips down to the floor. Breathe in nice and deep. Feel your whole body relax. Feels so good. And you can even go forth with doing any of your low lunge poses here, opening up to either side. And now you're making this very dynamic and also deepening your stretch. Now, as you continue to progress or improve, you can move this wheel up or down your calf to get a different stretch or to make your hamstring stretches or splits more dynamic. So what I mean by this is, rather than placing the wheel just under the thigh or the knee, you can go ahead and roll the wheel out towards your calf or even all the way down to your ankle. Now, if you're really good at doing the splits already on a flat surface, this will help you deepen your splits and give you sort of an inversion. So not only will your splits be more flexible and more deep. You can sit into them more comfortably and just get a better stretch overall. So I'm not great at the splits, but if you were, you'd come out and roll out. And as you can see, because I'm not good at the splits in general, this is still gonna deepen my splits posture. And as you get better, believe it or not, your hips will open all the way up, sinking down towards the floor. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. So you can also place the wheel in this position as you open up to the side. And this is going to still open up the hips and deepen them, but now in a different pose. So I'm gonna place it here, open out to the side, keep my leg nice and straight, and go ahead and open my knees and my hips in this position. So you will feel that dynamic, again, open up that space and allow you to deepen each of these poses. And this also works on the backside. So really opening up the hips. So if you place your hands on the ground like a low lunge, rather than placing the wheel here, we're opening up the hip in a different way, and it's going to make a difference. You're gonna feel it stretch a different portion of the hip. And when you can open up all sides of that, that's really gonna help release and unlock certain areas so that you can feel more comfortable and more flexible in different poses. Plus, it's really good for you. Like I said, it helps contribute to stress relief. You're also loosening all the muscles there so they're not pulling on the rest of your body, and increasing blood flow. So another way that you can utilize your wheel is to help incorporate balances into your routines. Rather than being a stress relief or adding depth to your stretches, this is actually gonna add a little bit more of a dynamic challenge to your poses. And what I mean by this is, an example would be if I'm going to be in a warrior one pose like this is very stable for me. I step back with one foot and I sink down into my warrior one as I normally would. Now imagine if I place a yoga wheel behind me. So taking my foot, placing the top of it on the yoga wheel, the most important thing is that the wheel is in the same direction that your foot's going to roll. So make sure it's nice and straight or else it will tip. And then I'm going to now sink down into warrior one as I roll that wheel up my foot. And come back up. Woo! So now you can see that my bottom leg is fighting to stabilize, and this is tackling more than just my primary muscles. Now I'm getting all of my smaller stability muscles that support the primary muscles. My core is much more engaged. I'm more intensely focused, and it is making me sweat. So you can incorporate this into warrior one. You can incorporate this into, instead of the big toe pose, you can just bring it here out in front of you and come down into your squats. So it's also helping you stay stabilized and upright without giving you too much of a handicap, so that you can learn to strengthen yourself to be more independent in these poses as you progress forward. And another couple of my favorites is using them on my feet in the plank pose. So just getting started, you can start off in plank pose. This is a great challenge already, and you can move into one foot at a time. And then you can also place the tops of your feet on to the wheel and roll it up into nice crunches, or sort of like what you would do on an exercise ball. And this is really getting your abs and your shoulders. It's going to give you a lot more strength in your crow poses, as well as any press-up handstands that you might be doing. So this is a great dynamic element that you can begin to incorporate into your yoga routine, flow, or individual poses. It's a great way to deepen each stretch or add that dynamic balance that helps incorporate more work and efficiency out of each of your movements. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and most of all, I really hope you enjoy your Yoga EVO Yoga Wheel. It's a great sturdy wheel, and it's got awesome grip. Plus, it's really pretty. I will see you guys next time here on Yoga EVO. Thank you guys for watching.